Somewhere in Michigan tonight, a neon marquee from 1939 is buzzing to life over a quiet main street. A few hours north, a family is tuning their car radio to 89.7 FM to catch a double feature under the stars. Same as their parents did, same field, same screen, and the house 3 blocks away. It costs less than most people's kitchen renovation. Here's the thing nobody tells you about towns frozen in time. The famous ones, Mackinac Island, Saugatuck, froze on purpose. The nostalgia there is a product, and you pay resort prices for it. But scattered across Michigan are towns that stayed 1985 by accident. When the mines and mills slowed down in the late 70s and early 80s, the developer money never showed up. Nobody tore down the wood-paneled taverns or the single-screen theaters because nobody was paid to. The craftsman bungalows and mid-century ranches just stayed, and so did the prices. Today, we're walking through 10 of them. For each one, you'll get the thing that makes it feel like 1985, the actual home prices, pulled from Zillow and local sale data, not wishful thinking. The honest downside nobody mentions, and our 5-point scorecard: price, time capsule charm, healthcare, winter, and everyday convenience. Same scorecard, every town, so you can compare apples to apples. And stick around for number 1. It's the only town on this list where the average home costs about $100,000, and there's a hospital right in town. When I double-checked those numbers, I honestly thought it was a typo. It's not. And if that's the middle of the market, you can guess where the bottom is. The cheapest homes there go for about the price of a new pickup truck. So, let's count them down. Dowagiac itself is rolling hills, a string of inland lakes, and a downtown anchored by the old Beckwith Theater and blocks of craftsman bungalows and farmhouses built between the 1850s and the 1920s. It even has the 5-mile drive-in, built in 1961, yet the screen has been dark since the end of the 2023 season. Family health challenges kept the owners from reopening in 2024, and the theater was put up for sale. For now, it's a memory rather than a working attraction. But there's still hope that the right new owner could bring movies, popcorn, and summer nights back to the old field someday. Now the numbers, because that's why you're here. Zillow puts the average home value in Dowagiac at about $231,000, up around 7% over the past year. That makes it the most expensive town on this list, still roughly $139,000 under the national average. But the lake country nearby pulls prices up. Healthcare is a genuine bright spot. Beacon Dowagiac, locals still call it Borges Lee, is a full-service hospital with a 24-hour ER right in town. The honest minus? You're paying a premium for that Southwest Michigan lake charm, and summer weekends bring Chicago plate traffic that can make it feel a little less 1985 and a little more 2026. Also, locals say this town has the most mispronounced name in the state, so whatever you do, please don't call it Dowagiac. If Dowagiac's drive-in is a memory, Coldwater's is a monument. The Capri Drive-In on West Chicago Road has been running since 1964. 2 screens, room for roughly 1,000 cars, and it routinely lands on national Best Drive-Ins in America lists. Don't have a working car radio? They'll rent you a little portable one for a couple bucks at the concession stand. That detail alone tells you everything about this place. Coldwater sits on historic US 12 in south-central Michigan, about 13,000 people, a courthouse square kind of downtown, and street after street of colonial revivals, classic bungalows, and post-war cottages that look like the establishing shot of every 80s family movie. Money talk. Recent Zillow data puts typical Coldwater home values right around $220,000, and there's real inventory here. This is one of the bigger towns on our list with over 100 homes on the market at any given time. Healthcare's covered too. ProMedica Coldwater Regional Hospital runs a 24-hour emergency center right on East Chicago Street. The honest minus: Coldwater is a working county seat with a state prison complex among its major employers. It's a real economy, not a postcard, and a few commercial strips look like any town USA rather than 1985. All right, quick question. What has tubas, trombones, doctors, farmers, and clown costumes and has been going since 1903? That would be the Scottville Clown Band, the strangest and most beloved institution in this town of about 1,200 people, a few miles inland from the Lake Michigan resort town of Ludington. Local merchants started it. It was rebuilt in 1947 by a shopkeeper named Ray Schultz, and its legendary frontman, Big George Wilson, joined that same year at age 15 and led the thing until he passed in 2012. Bankers and police officers in clown suits playing marches for over a century. There's even a museum of music at historic White Pine Village telling the whole story, and the band helped fund it. And that's Scottville in a nutshell. While Ludington, 7 miles west, got the condos and the tourist dollars, Scottville stayed the little farm supply main street it's always been, which shows up in the prices. Zillow's index for Scottville sits around $222,000, up a hot 15% this past year, so the secret is leaking, but you can still find solid century-old farmhouses and craftsman bungalows under $170,000. For healthcare, Corewell Health's Ludington Hospital and its ER are about a 10-minute drive. Honest minus: it's small, one main street. Groceries, yes. Anything fancy means driving to Ludington, which granted also has the beach. Now we go somewhere most Michigan videos never go. Way up on the northeast shore of the Lower Peninsula, past where the traffic thins out and the radio stations start dropping off, sits Rogers City, population around 2,800. They call it the Nautical City. Great Lakes freighters still load limestone here from one of the largest limestone quarries on Earth, and the town watches them glide out onto Lake Huron like it's 1955, let alone 1985. The retro icon here is the Driftwood Motel on North 3rd Street, a classic mom-and-pop lakefront motel where the rooms open onto balconies hanging right over Lake Huron, with the old Water's Edge restaurant and lounge attached. No resort branding, no infinity pool, just the big blue lake and a room key. Down the shore, the 40 Mile Point Lighthouse still stands watch, same as always. Zillow's index for the Rogers City zip code runs about $183,000, up sharply this past year. But in town, tidy 4-bedroom homes still hit the market in the $115,000 to $165,000 range. On a per square foot basis, this is some of the cheapest Lake Huron you can buy. But here comes the most important honest minus in this entire video, and if you're retirement age, write this down. Presque Isle County has no full-service hospital. There are clinics in town, but the nearest 24-hour emergency room is in Alpena, roughly 35 to 40 minutes down US 23. For some of you, that's a deal breaker, and it should be. For others, it's the price of waking up to a freighter horn instead of a freeway. If that last town scared you a little, good news. This one solves exactly that problem and feeds you Swedish meatballs. Escanaba sits on Little Bay Danock at the top of Lake Michigan, an upper peninsula port town of about 12,000 that the tourist wave somehow rolled right past. The result? Quiet grid streets full of beautifully kept 1950s and 60s ranches with big green lawns, and a main drag, Ludington Street, that still functions like a main street. And on Ludington Street is the single coziest time capsule on this list. the Swedish pantry. The dining room walls are covered, genuinely covered, in chiming rhythm wall clocks, and the menu hasn't really changed in decades because it's still built on the founder's original recipes. Swedish meatballs, potato sausage, cardamom bread pudding, thin pancakes with lingonberry jam imported straight from Sweden. You don't visit 1985 here. You order it off the menu. Zillow puts Escanaba's typical home value around $182,000, up about 8.5% this year, and you'll routinely see clean 3-bedroom houses listed between $150,000 and $170,000. Healthcare is a real strength. OSF St. Francis Hospital operates right in Escanaba with a 24-hour emergency department. That combination, real hospital, real Main Street, sub-$160,000 homes on a Great Lake Bay, is rarer than it has any right to be. Honest minus, this is the UP winter is long, gray, and serious, and the nearest big city airport amenities are hours away. January asks you what you're made of. Stay in the UP with me because 45 minutes northeast of Escanaba is a town where Hollywood history and a legendary pizza joint share the same orange vinyl booths. Ishpeming is old iron mining country, the historic heart of the Marquette Iron Range. While its neighbor Marquette modernized around the university, Ishpeming kept the bones of a working town. Sturdy wood frame houses, Victorian cottages, and a main street that hasn't been focus grouped. The crown jewel is Congress Pizza at 106 Main Street, slinging its famous cracker-thin crust since 1934. Inside, it's orange vinyl booths, wood paneling, a wall of local sports team photos going back generations, and remarkably, photos from the filming of Anatomy of a Murder, the 1959 courtroom classic written by local author John Folker and shot right here in the area, with shots of Jimmy Stewart and Duke Ellington. Order the local specialty while you're at it, a kudigi sandwich, spicy homemade Italian sausage with mustard, onions, and mushrooms. That sandwich alone is worth the drive. Zillow's index for Ishpeming sits around $193,000, up about 7% this year. And this is a market where loaded with character isn't realtor speak. Original hardwood and built-ins are the norm, with plenty of listings under $175,000. There's a hospital right in the Ishpeming area, and the big regional medical center in Marquette is only about 15 minutes east on US 41, rare depth of coverage for a town this size. Honest minus, snow. Ishpeming gets buried. We're talking one of the snowiest inhabited areas east of the Rockies. If you don't love a snowblower, you will not love February here. Number 4 is barely a dot on the map. And that's the whole point. Carsonville in Michigan's Thumb is a farm village of about 500 people. Plain wood frame houses, mid-century ranches, grain country in every direction, Lake Huron a short drive east. There is no boutique district. There is no district, period. What Carsonville has is arguably the most sacred piece of retro real estate in the state. The Highway Drive-In out on M46 at the Black River Fairgrounds. Opened in 1948, some records say 47. It's recognized as Michigan's oldest drive-in theater, all-grass lot. Sound on 89.7 FM, cash only at the gate. One honest, up-to-the-minute caveat. As of this year, the highway has been closed while the owners work through major electrical repairs, and they've said publicly they won't reopen until everything's up to code. So check their page before you make the pilgrimage. That they're fighting to save a 1948 drive-in rather than sell the land, that tells you what kind of town this is. Housing here comes with an asterisk, and it works in your favor. The headline index for the area is about $204,000, but that number is pulled up by the big country properties and farm acreage ringing the village. Inside Carsonville itself, homes routinely list in the $115,000 to $125,000 range, genuinely the cheapest doorstep in the thumb. For emergencies, the hospitals in Sandusky and Deckerville are each roughly a 10 to 15-minute drive. Honest minus. This is deep rural living. One village, a handful of businesses, and your social calendar is whatever you build it to be. Every list like this needs one town that almost lost its treasure and fought for it. That's Caro. Caro is the county seat of Tuscola County, smack in the middle of the farm country Michiganders call the Thumb. Its anchor is the Strand Theater on South State Street, a single-screen movie house from the late 1920s, crowned by a glorious restored 1939 neon marquee that lights up State Street in pure Art Deco glow. In 1986, a major fire in the clothing store next door nearly took the Strand with it. Instead of letting it die, local residents and business owners formed a committee, saved the building, and restored it. Nearly 4 decades after the community saved it, the Strand went dark again in May 2024 for renovations. There's no firm reopening date yet, but the hope remains that this isn't the end, and that one day its restored neon marquee will glow over State Street again. That's the kind of town this is. Tudor bungalows, classic one-story ranches, roomy colonial revivals, and people who show up for each other. Now, the part that made me double-check my sources, Zillow's home value index for Caro sits around $187,000, and even with a hot year, recent sales up sharply. Redfin's median sale price is only about $170,000. Healthcare? McLaren Caro region runs a 24-hour emergency department right on North Hooper Street, a market with its own ER and a neon movie palace, and homes that start well under $100,000. That's the trifecta. Honest minus. The broader Thumb economy is agricultural and slow-growing. Jobs for younger family members are limited, and Caro has felt the sting of facility closures over the years. You're buying stability, not momentum. Number 2 has the best town name in America. Fight me in the comments. Bad Axe, Michigan, county seat of Huron County, up at the tip of the thumb. The story goes that a surveying party in the 1860s or 70s found a battered old axe at their campsite, wrote Bad Axe Camp on the map, and it stuck. 150 years later, roughly 3,000 people get to write the coolest return address in the Midwest. Beyond the name, Bad Axe is the genuine article. Cape Cod houses, Tudor-style bungalows, and ranches on generous lots, wrapped around a traditional county seat downtown. Locals will tell you the same story realtors here tell. Kids leave for college, then come back to raise their own children on streets where everyone still knows everyone. The town even had its own drive-in, the M53, into the 1980s. Old-timers still talk about it. The numbers are quietly spectacular. Zillow's index for Bad Axe is about $182,000, up a striking 17% this past year. And unlike most towns this cheap, Bad Axe has real infrastructure. McLaren Thumb Region Hospital with 24-hour emergency care is right in town, and it's one of the area's largest employers alongside manufacturer Gemini Group. Honest minus. You are 40-plus minutes from any city of size, the landscape is flat farm country in every direction, and if you want nightlife, the Thumb goes to bed early. And now, number 1. Remember the town where you can find a good home for about the price of a new pickup truck, with a hospital in town. Here it is. Ironwood, Michigan. The far western edge of the Upper Peninsula, hard against the Wisconsin line. Old iron mining country. When the Gogabic Range mines closed, the money left, the people who stayed, and the town simply held. Walk down Suffolk Street downtown today, and its independent storefronts with original facades. No corporate rebrand in sight. This isn't a set, it's a Tuesday. The living history here is edible. Joe's Pasty Shop on West Aurora Street still bakes pasties. The handheld meat pies Cornish miners carried underground from recipes that predate anyone reading the menu. Rigoni's Bakery is on Suffolk Street. The wood-paneled Rigoni's Inn and the Uptown Cafe still pour like it's league night in 1985. And over in neighboring Wakefield, the Randall Bakery has been added in a basically unchanged storefront for generations. Now sit down for the number. Zillow's Home Value Index for Ironwood, $107,007, up a calm 1% this year. That's not the price of the cheap houses. That's the typical home. The market moves gently. No bidding wars. Miner-built craftsman bungalows, stone ranches with original hardwood. This is, by the numbers, one of the cheapest livable time capsules in the United States. And here's what elevates Ironwood over every other ultra-cheap town in America. Aspirus Ironwood Hospital, a 25-bed hospital with a 24/7 physician-staffed ER, ranked among the nation's top critical access hospitals, is right in town. Cheap almost never comes with that. The honest minus, and it's a big one, Ironwood is genuinely remote, about 100 miles from the nearest interstate-sized city, and it sits in a lake-effect snowbelt that measures winter in feet. The economy leans on tourism from the nearby ski hills, and young family jobs are scarce. You have to want this life. But if you do, nowhere on this list gives you more $19.85 per dollar. Not even close. So let's put all 10 side by side. Go ahead and screenshot this. This table is the whole video on one screen. Notice the pattern. If healthcare is your first filter, your short list is Caro, Bad Axe, Escanaba, Coldwater, and Dowagiac, real ERs in town. If price is everything, Ironwood is in a league of its own. If you want maximum 1985 feeling and you're healthy enough to gamble on distance, Rogers City and Ishpeming will steal your heart. One last thing, neighbor to neighbor. Every number in this video came from a source: Zillow, Redfin, hospital systems, the theaters themselves. And where sources disagreed or something recently changed, like that drive-in under repair, we told you straight. These towns deserve that. The people who live in them will know if we fudge it, and frankly, so would you. And if you know something we missed, we genuinely love to hear it. Maybe there's a local spot everyone should visit, a hidden gem that doesn't make the travel guides, or maybe that drive-in has finally reopened by the time you're watching this. Leave it in the comments. The best recommendations always come from the people who actually know these places, and your updates help keep the conversation useful for everyone who finds this video later. So, of these 10, which one could you actually see yourself in? Drop your pick in the comments and tell me your own still feels like 1985 town, because that comment section writes our next episode. If this saved you a few hours of Zillow rabbit holes, a like genuinely helps more people find these places before the prices catch up. See you in the next town.